Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Stormworks, and we are finally not working on that damn submarine. So this episode is going to be a little weird. It's a little all over the place, but we are back working on the diving ship. So we'll see how long this goes on for. I don't really have too much extra footage of this. I've been slacking with the Stormworks stuff lately, but we do have enough for today's episode, and so here it is. But not really a big plan in today's episode. I just am going to do a little bit of interior layout work, but I also want to get that, not hangar, that garage bay cleaned up and looking a lot nicer. So that's kind of the main goal of what we're going to focus on in today's episode. So we're just going to do a lot of floor plan stuff and a lot of kind of decorations here or there spread about. So if you guys are looking forward to that, obviously that's what we got in store for today. I know a lot of you probably are missing this build series. If you're new to this build series, essentially this is a Arctic diving ship. So it is made for underwater construction. It's going to be made to do saturation diving, which isn't really a thing in Stormworks, but it is a thing in real life. So we're going to have diving bells and habitat and all sorts of other good stuff. It's going to have position hold, a bunch of equipment basically on the bottom side of it to help you do construction underwater. So that's kind of the main goal of this boat. It's just a offshore support ship that is specifically for underwater construction. We're going to have a big crane and, systems to support that. So other than that, it's just a boat. So we need to do boat things like interiors. And this interior is very strange. And if you guys are familiar with some of my builds, you'll probably understand that I go a little wild with the interiors. Symmetry is my enemy when it comes to the interior. So I'm really trying to figure this layout out. We've got not really like a weird shaped space. It's a little awkward because it's split level and there's a stairwell right in the middle, and we need to squeeze another stairwell in somewhere to go downstairs. So it's a little awkward, but I'm not too worried about it. Like I said earlier, big fan of the asymmetrical stuff. You guys know that. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. Start with the stairwells, guys. That's the easiest way to get your floors looking nice. Start with the stairs. They're the most important part of the floor plan, the stairs and the doors. So there's your first tip of the day. When you guys are doing these interiors, definitely do your stairwells first. And the next thing I'm going to say to you is do not put the stairwell in the center of the ship. Unless it is a luxury ship, you should not do that. It wastes space. Don't do that, please. It annoys me. Stairwells should be slightly asymmetrical or completely to one side. You lose a lot of interior space, and then you also force spaces to be the same by symmetric design if you do that. And I dislike that. It's not good for your interior. Interior shouldn't have the same room over and over and over and over and over. And that's what you end up doing when you have long, straight hallways and stairwells in the middle of the build. So try to avoid that if you want. Obviously, each their own. Do what you want. I don't really care. I'm just a little piece of advice from me as far as trying to figure out how to do the floor plans. That would be where I would start. And then, when you go to place the stairwells, kind of think about the routes you're going to take while you're operating the ship, the routes that crew will need to take while they're operating the ship. Those are kind of things that you will want to worry about, because if you have a really, really awkward trail to get from, like the engine room to the bridge, that's fine unless you have a lot of manual controls in the engine room. Then it's not fine. So just kind of stuff like that to worry about. Where are you going to be walking to and from the most while using this ship? And once you figure that out, that can help you kind of make the interior a little bit more efficient, spend less time, wandering through the maze of hallways, a little bit more of a direct route. I think people get really caught up on, like, oh, this has got to be here. And this is like, just fill the space up and break it up. And, again, my advice is don't do big, long symmetrical hallways. Don't do symmetrical stairwells, that kind of thing. But also don't break the rooms up evenly. Make the rooms weird shapes. Guys, most rooms are not square. I don't know if you've noticed that, but actually a very large majority of rooms are not a normal four-sided shape. They're not a square or a rectangle. There's a lot of other corners going on. So try to reflect that into your actual builds as well. And then that also, it makes it more interesting. It breaks up the rooms. It makes them all not feel the same. And that's really, really important too, because that can get lost while building in this game a lot, is the individuality of each room, the purpose of each room. And it's hard to, especially, you know, when you get into like bedrooms, bunk rooms, that kind of thing, bathrooms, they all start to look the same. And if you have the same exact sized room, that's the same exact shape with the same palette, there's very little you can do to actually kind of differentiate those spaces. And it doesn't sound correct saying that, but if you really think about it, subliminally, you have already chose the same colors, you've chose the same patterns, you've chose the same blocks, same function. It's not good. So you want each bedroom to feel a little different. You want each bathroom to feel a little different. And an easy way to do that is by giving them weird shapes, and not making them all the same size. And I know that makes it obviously a lot more annoying to build because it's a lot more time consuming, but at the same time, you do end up with a lot more of a well-rounded build in my mind. And the other thing to kind of go off of this is, you know, rooms in ships and airplanes and whatever, you know, just vehicles in general, they have these weird shapes because there's a lot of stuff going on in the background as well. So there's a lot of utility closets. There's a lot of, you know, maintenance access. There's a lot of stuff like that going on too. And I encourage you to squeeze stuff like that into your build too, because it makes it a lot more, not realistic, but it makes it feel a lot more lived in, a lot more alive, you know, like it actually has to be maintained. Like there's a reason there's a hole in the wall here is because we need to get to this stuff on the other side of that wall. So that's more or less what I'm talking about. I don't know. I'm not sold on that window because we can't follow the fade, but we'll see. I do want some light in there. But yeah, anyways, that is just another thing that I think is really, really easy to do, that a lot of people kind of miss is, you know, equipment storage, access hatches, you know, that kind of stuff. Closets. The rooms don't have to be like big, massive, purposeful rooms. You know what I mean? They can be this tiny little space that's just for holding water bottles. You know, who cares? But anyways, that's enough of my rant. We are actually moving into the hangar section right now. Not really a hangar, more of a garage, but we're going to get some paint dropped in on this bad boy. I do want to get some lighting and some logos put up. We'll have to circle back to this part of the ship in another episode, but I want to get it just looking a little bit nicer for the time being. Especially while we you know, use it for testing and whatnot. So a lot of testing is going to go into this ship. Might as well make at least the hangar look a little nicer. And at the very least, I want to get some lights in here so we can check it out at night. But I am going to hit y'all with the time lapse. We got a lot of stuff to do in this episode. I've already been ranting for almost 10 minutes. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys in just a minute.
Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact.
right. Well, that was pretty much just a lot of paint blocks, but I do have some other things that we need to do in here. And the first on that list is fire extinguishers. So I do want to get some fire extinguishers in, and not like the placeable objects. I want to get like the actual hose ones. I am going to move this. I don't really even know what you would call it. It's like an awning with heaters for people working outside. But it doesn't line up with the windows now, so I'm going to move it and make sure it lines up with the windows. Because that looks better. Anyways, so we'll get that copy and pasted. But I do need to basically get a seawater hose, well, not hose, seawater pipe ran up into the hangar bay, so we can get a fire extinguisher mounted on the wall right here. And right alongside that, I will put a normal fire extinguisher, but those have, like an actual inventory that runs out. So I do like, especially on the deck, having actual hose hookups, because that allows you to not only fight fires on your own boat, but fight fires on other boats. And for an offshore support vessel, that's not like a key role, but it's a pretty useful thing. Oil is pretty flammable. I'm sure you guys know oil's pretty flammable. So yeah, it's I do think that having some safety equipment on the deck with this ship is quite important. So we're going to start with fire extinguishers, and then obviously we'll go from there. But first and foremost, we got to get this pipe ran, and I dropped this pipe down through the ceiling, and I have no clue where we are. It looks like we're right above the freshwater tank, which is actually kind of perfect, because keeping all of the water with water stuff nice and organized. So, and I'm going to paint this a different color, even though it's going to be water, just so we know it's fire water. And we're not going to pull from the freshwater tank, obviously. I want to pull from the ocean. So let's see. Let's try to pop a port down into here, and then I'll get a pump on, and hopefully that'll be enough for just this one fire extinguisher. I'm probably going to add another one towards the back of the hangar and or on the deck. There should probably be more than one. Again, kind of a safety thing. If that doesn't work, well, then you're kind of screwed. So yeah, anyways, this is a lot easier of a route than I thought it was going to be in my head, which is very convenient. Like I said, keeping water with water, which is cool. And that lines up right nice snugly on the wall, which is also perfect. So that's exactly what I want. Nice and clean, out of mind. And hopefully that one pump will be plenty enough for this. If not, we can squeeze in one of the larger pumps, but should be good enough for now. And now we have a little bit of firefighting capabilities on deck, which is a great thing to have. So we're going to get another one of these right over here next to the habitat. And that means we got to run another water line. I did crank the speed on the recording up a little bit. You guys don't need to watch me place pipes in real time. But same deal with this guy. I need to find a way to route it into the floor and basically pick up seawater. So we need to find a good place to do that. And I'm thinking we'll probably shoot across the ceiling and down on the wall like that, and should be good enough. So once again, try to keep the less important stuff kind of out of sight, out of mind. Obviously this is in sight, but that's all right. Should be good enough for what we need. And again, I'm probably going to add quite a few more of these, but we at least have one in the garage bay now and on the deck. So that is a big improvement. And the hoses are long enough where you can kind of go wherever you need with them, if we're being honest. So I am adding a manual valve here, just in case you want to be a troll and screw your friends over and just shut it off. But yeah, why not? Anyways, let's get this thing spawned in. Yep, listen to all the loud, annoying noises while it sets itself up. But I do want to make sure these hoses are working. Looks like that one's good. Maybe a little low on the pressure. Not horrible, though. I can live with it. That is definitely bad water pressure. So that one's going to need more pumps, or a better pump, at least, or move the pump. Yeah, not enough. So, well, we at least know they work. I just got to make that pump either a larger pump or I need to move it. So I'm thinking moving it probably will be a better solution for us here. That being said, I'm kind of having a brain fart. So we'll see if I remember if it needs to go close to the hose or close to the port. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't remember. And it's very apparent in this clip. I don't remember either. So I guess we'll play around with it. But yeah, we'll get this moved, and we'll see if this pump's a little bit better this time around. And again, I apologize about the noise. This thing's got a lot going on when you spawn it in. And yeah, it looks like I was right the first time. So put the pump closer to the port. That'll give you better pumping power. But that is good to go now. So perfect. All right. There is a few more things that I definitely want to get in here. And this winch is one of them. We are running a little low on time. So we're at 200 speed again. But I want to get a winch in here and then get some lights, and then hopefully we'll wrap it up. So this episode might be a few minutes longer, but definitely want to get this part done. And I think a winch at the end of the garage for the sliding rails is really, really useful for pretty much any cargo handling. So the other thing I'm going to do is throw some ropes down, just so, we've got ropes. We'll come back and do rope anchors and that kind of stuff later. But yeah, I mean, ropes are just, it's just nice to have them around. I feel like you can never really have too many ropes in this game. But yeah, and then I'm just doing my classic emergency painting on the floor. So you guys can basically, in all of my ships, I don't know if I've really ever talked about this, but in all of my ships, there's that green line that goes between all of the doorways. Basically that green line leads you to exits. So if you follow, and I even have it on the oil rig, that green line is basically for emergencies. So, visibility is not really an issue in this game, but like in an actual fire it is. So that's like a painted line on the ground that you follow to exits. So anyways, got a heater in here, got a nice little space heater, which it's funny, you guys know, normally I go crazy with the air conditioning and stuff, but since this is an Arctic ship, I got to go crazy with the heat. It's still going to get air conditioning, trust me, boys. But I do think it is a little funny that normally I don't put enough heaters, and this thing's probably going to have enough heaters to change the temperature of the world. But that's kind of good. So, that's what we're looking for. And here we go. Make sure these lights get nice and spaced out evenly, and go ahead and get those hooked up. I got to go repaint them too. You guys know I'm super picky about light colors and whatnot. So, we'll see. We'll probably go for like a lighter color. I don't know if I want to go light or warm with this one, really. I keep flipping back and forth on both options, but anyways, I need to stop the rant. This is just about all we have in this episode. It looks like in this episode we're going to choose warm lighting. But if you guys made it to the end, thank you so much. I know this episode was like really, really all over the place. So, I mean, kind of not, but also a little all over the place. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys in this one. In the next episode, I don't know what we're doing. I need to get working on some stuff with this. I need to also get my submarine finished. I just need to start playing Stormworks more. But anyways, thank you guys for staying to the end. If you like this build series, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. We will keep coming back with more episodes, and I'll catch you guys all in the next episode. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.